One of the positives that came out of this whole Veganator, Crystal, and Karazhan situation is that now white men and men of other races see what African American men have been talking about for years regarding the behavior of many of these African American women. That whenever a man decides that he doesn't want to agree with this female, that she will go into histrionics and go into behaviors that are just pretty much out of control. Because what we saw last week in that whole 13-minute video that your Crystal and Karazhan made was a complete meltdown of a female in the face of being disagreed with. Now God, your white man, has living proof that this black female is pretty much out of control. And it reinforces a point that I made in my classic video, The Bride of Frankenshine, that this is what white men are going to be having to deal with, because now you are being confronted by the monster created by white liberal politicians and white feminists. And now you, white males, have to contend with this monster the same way black men have had to deal with this monster for many, many years. Many black men have said that this is the type of behavior that we have to deal with on a daily basis when dealing with this black female. This is the type of behavior that was enabled by your white liberal policies such as your welfare state and the unfair advantages African American women got primarily through getting jobs through all these affirmative action programs. What we have here is a spoiled brat who feels that she has to get her way all the time, every time, and if she does not get her way all the time, every time, she then acts out. And this is what we saw being presented in those videos after that Google Hangout. We saw a 13-minute tirade. Then we saw threats to go get a lawyer. All attempts to try to force a man to change his opinion so that he would agree with her. And this is what black men have had to deal with for over 40 years. And if you even look at your YouTube these days, this is what we dealt with for the past 7, 8 years. Whenever a black male would try to present a viewpoint that countered the narrative of these black females or disagreed with their viewpoint, there would be, like back in 2008 to about 2011, attempts to false flag the video. There would be attempts to try to attack the person. This is something that many black men, such as your Dan Freeman, your Tommy Sotomayor, and Rick Scorpio, and many others, had to deal with over the last 7, 8 years whenever they tried to present points that pretty much countered this Afro-American Negro woman's viewpoints. And this is what she would try to do. She would try to censor us and try to maintain her control over things. Because what this African American woman wants to do is she wants to control the narrative, and she wants the narrative to only present her in a positive light. This is what Tommy Sotomayor meant many years ago when he said undue praise. What they want to do is they want to control the narrative. They want to tell their side of the story and only their side of the story. They don't want to hear any counterpoints. And this is what the Veganator is running into right now. He's running into a black female who pretty much wants to control the narrative, and she wants to force him to agree with her. And she's going to force it by any means necessary. This is why I call this black woman the Bride of Frankenshine, because she, again, is a monster created by white liberal politicians and white feminists. She's been spoiled and enabled, and she believes that she can force people to do things her way. She believes she can go out and get a bunch of people to force this Veganator to concede his position and agree with her position. And this is why I say your black community is pretty much a fascist state, because this is the approach that your Afro-American Negro woman pretty much uses on the regular to control the narrative of black people. They try to force everyone to do things their way. And when black men decide to disagree with them, they do one of two things. They either call the police, in many cases in the black community, and get white males to enforce her view on the world, or, like she does on social media, she goes out and finds white males to go out and flag video, after she flags videos, to get people's channels taken down so that she can censor them. And we're seeing this, right now. This is a powerful example that I hope would be a game changer for everyone. Because when I look at this whole picture with Crystal and Karazhan, now white men understand what black people have been dealing with for years. Anybody who offered a dissenting opinion, a dissenting voice, or decided to disagree with this black female pretty much was run out or tried to be run out, because this is something I've encountered myself in my years of blogging when I made written blogs that pretty much presented a counterpoint to all of the opinions of these black females. They would try to censor me, but I still stayed out here because I understood that the importance of having that counterpoint in the black community. And this is one of the positives that's going to come out of this thing, because now everyone sees what this Bride of Frankenshine will do when she is disagreed with. This is the monster that has been terrorizing the black community for over 40 years. And maybe now that white men understand what we've been dealing with in incidents such as your Sandra Bland and what Ben Fields had to deal with, maybe now they'll start taking another long, hard look at this black female and start realizing this monster, really needs to be disciplined so that so her out of control behavior can finally be dealt with in a constructive fashion. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.